we should live with the Lord, and you should practice this as a healer. Not that you have to practice all the 8 steps of yoga path, but you should be able to discriminate between the true I am and the false I am in you. The false I am includes the lower principles in you, which we call the physical, the etheric, they are called the higher principles. Of course, I use the terminology and language used by the Tibetan master Jwalpur for clarity, because there are many students who are going deep into the teachings of the Tibetan master Jwalpur. Therefore, for convenience sake, I use the terminology used by Tibetan master. And the principles 5 and 6 put together are called soul. So, the real students of Tibetan master and Alice Bailey should never say, I have a soul. Should say, I am a soul, I have a body. If you say, I have a soul, it must be this one. It is under your shoe. So, if any student studying the book Initiation, Human and Solar, or Discipleship in the New Age, if he says, I have a soul, it's a pity. A spiritual student should say, I am a soul, I have a body, I have a mind, I have senses. All the rest lower principles come under belongings. Your belongings, what you have, this is what you are. So, from the level of what you have, you should travel to the level of what you are. And the 7th is what is called spirit. Soul and spirit put together, one unit. What is spirit? The God in man. Soul is the purest I am, and spirit is the God in man. How can God exist in man? I gave you the example of the space in this hall. It never belongs to this hall because it was there before this hall was built. Similarly, before our body was created, this space in our heart was there when we are not there. We are built in space. Space is not built in us. That is called the spirit of the presence, omnipresence of the Lord in every one of us. Of course, I have a little bit deviated, but this basis is necessary for a healer. If a healer thinks that it is a psychic experiment or it is a psychology experiment, he is a thorough failure. It's neither a psychic experiment nor a psychology experiment, but it is a total submission of the healer along with the patient to the I am in him. And then the energy flows from the I am through the healer into the patient. That's the process. Another fact that has to be remembered is, we find many healers becoming sick day by day and afterwards going into physical and mental wrecks after some time, because they lose their health, they pour their energy into the patients to heal, and they are depleted. Whenever a patient comes, when they heal, they come into their own room and they are fatigued and too much debilitated. Sometimes some fellows go into perspiration and they have to take rest and then come out. Because their energy is flowing into the patients to heal. So they can heal at best 2 or 3 patients a day. When they go sick, this is the one thing from which the healer is to protect himself. Remember that it is not the energy in you that is healing the patients. It is too much to believe. It is an auto-suggestion that makes you weak. Because you are sincerely believing that you are pouring your health into him or your healing mechanism into the patient, you are becoming weak. Not because healing requires it, but because you are having a wrong auto-suggestion, you are becoming weak. Remember that healing occurs through you, not by you. So when you are a healer, healing mechanism comes directly from the solar energy, through the solar energy, from the solar logos, who is called this personality of our solar system, from a higher source which is called the spiritual sun, who is called in the scriptures the space in sun. Because even the sun is not the sun globe, it is only a garb. The sun globe is only a garment of the sun, whereas the true sun is the space in the sun globe. This secret should be meditated upon. The actual sun, where does he exist? He exists as the space in the sun globe. That's why when we meditate upon Gayatri and other high spiritual mantras, we are expected to meditate upon the indweller of the sun, not the sun. So, from the indweller, through the sun's rays, it comes and enters into your heart, and through your eyes, or through your words, or through your hands, it flows into the patient. Now you begin to heal. You are not going weak. You are becoming strong day by day. You can heal 100 or 150 patients a day. And you are as fresh as you were in the morning. So, don't ignore this fact. Never believe that healing is done by you. It is done through you. If I say electric current is flowing from this wire, it's not correct. It is flowing through this wire. The source is different. And you be conscious of this fact. And you are safe as a healer. Because healing is a holy process. It should improve your health. You should never get depleted if your process were to be correct. A noble deed, a good work never leaves you weak. That's against the law of nature. Nature must be a fool and God must be a fool if that were to be true. If after healing you are weak, that means something wrong with your procedure and not in the nature. It's not in the nature of things. Nature is essentially progressive. And whenever you attempt a good deed, you are stronger automatically. There is no doubt about it, and there is no exception to this rule. This is next aspect. And last and final, I think I have taken much of your time. Last and final point to be remembered is you should be able to classify diseases, all diseases in the world, under 2 headings. One is hyper, and the second is hypo. And tell you what it is. If there is the physical body, it is filled with the vital force we have seen according to homeopathic theory and the spiritualism theory. We have seen what is called the etheric body or the vital body. And the vital force is being supplied to the physical body through centers called energy centers, which are beyond the comprehension of the present medical student. Of course, tomorrow's medical student knows it in the 21st century. Present medical student is directed only towards anatomy and physiology, and there the investigation stops. We know only by our frame, that is physical body, the bony system, the nervous system, the circulatory system, respiratory system, excretory system, ganglion system, and the ductless glands. That's all. Beyond that, man is understood only in these terms. Just as the owner of this hall is understood by the hall, or the person who sits in the chair understood by the chair. Suppose we say, this is Mr. Krishnamacharya, the chair, the wood in the chair, etc. If it were to be true, then the anatomy must be the person. So beyond anatomy and physiology, there is what is called the force. And the distribution of the force is being done through the nerves. Just as the distribution of energy into our houses is being done through electric wires. And the wires are not electric current. So also, the physical body is not the vital force and the nerves are not the vital force. The vital force is flowing through the nerves. And there are energy centers, mainly 6 in number, and the 7th being the head center. The 6 chakras and the 7th. Where do they exist? The anatomy student demands you. Show me if there are chakras. Otherwise, accept that there are no chakras at all. What do you mean by chakras? The most modern student of American university asks you, what do you mean? He says, chakras, what do you mean? You should show. Take a radiography, no chakras. Or take a corpse and cut a longitude section of the vertebral column. No chakras at all, not even a half chakra. Where do the chakras exist? Where does the energy exist in you? Do you have energy in you or not?
Yes.
Yes. Where does it exist? Shall I take a radiography of your body? Can I show your energy? Energy is not physical. Therefore, it cannot be submitted to any instrument or the senses. The mind should understand it through the phenomena it produces. Can you show electricity? If we touch it, we know it, but we are not there to explain it. But we know that the electricity exists. How do you prove? This is the proof. That is the proof. There are 1,001 proofs that electricity exists, but electricity cannot be seen or shown or touched. It can only be felt from a distance. It cannot be felt by touching, because the fellow who felt goes into it. If you want to live, you should have water through a glass, but don't jump into a river. The river drinks you. You have to drink water. The river should not drink you. So, electricity, you should tackle it. It should not tackle you. Don't touch it. So, electricity exists. So, energy exists. And electromagnetic phenomena exist. And the lines of force on the poles of the magnet exist. Where do they exist? Take a radiography of the magnet. So do the chakras exist. The real student of chakras, who is a practical student, not a speculative student, but an operative student. If a mason were to build a house, he should be an operative mason also. A speculative mason can never build anything except his own thoughts and speculations. He uses his mental set square and virtuous plumb and spirit level, but when he sees, an American sees an Indian talks to American, they remember that they are different. So the spirit level is only mental, not operative. Unless we maintain the same spirit with each other, we are not operative masons. We may call ourselves Freemasons and boast of all those things. We should be operative also, not speculative. Then only we can be healers. Otherwise, healing should be done on speculative level, not operative level. Can we eat speculative meals? We have to eat on an operative level. Same thing here also. So, energy exists. The centers of energy exist. Through the centers, energy enters into the body. From where from? Where from electricity comes into the electromagnet? Where from magnetism comes into the magnet? Correct, please. Solar system. Where from the solar energy comes into the solar system? Galaxies. Where from the energy comes into the galaxies? It is there in space. Space is a pool of energy. In these Sanskrit scriptures, it is called the ocean, the primordial ocean. And there are whirlpools in the ocean which we call the galaxies. And then there are the lines of force in the whirlpools which we call the processions of solar systems. And the whole universe is a fabrication of vibrations, that's all. So, energy exists in space and it is flowing into the constitution of every one of us through these energy centers. It exists where we are. When we have an open mind, a cheerful mood and a positive approach, the channels open and the energy flows in. If we are suspicious, if we are jealous, if we are angry, if we are ill-tempered, the centers close and there is debility. This is the ultimate truth of it. No exception to this truth. So, It is the duty of the healer to see that the energy centers are opened. And for certain reasons, the centers are closed because more than 1,000 times in the day, we have fear, we have suspicion, we have jealousy, we have great hurry. We are in doubt if we can catch the aeroplane or not. We are running, eating before running. All nonsensical things we do. Eating while angry, not while hungry. We go into disease. And disease is a wrong distribution of the invisible energies through the visible body. That is what Master Jwalpur defines. There cannot be a better definition of disease, at least at the present, for 2 or 3 centuries to come. This is the definition of disease. And the healer is expected to be conversant of these invisible levels. And he should be able to rectify the inhibition. And when the energy centers are strained, ruptured, or sometimes half closed, or paralyzed, wide open, there are 2 types of diseases. One is too much of energy flowing into the constitution, creating diseases. The fellow becomes oversensitive, irritable, nervous. There are outbursts of impulsive nature. What happens when the electric connections are wrongly made? There are sparks. There is flame. There is explosion. There is fire, like that. Between 2 people we find fighting, say fool, idiots, nonsense, like that. I'll kill you, I'll kick you. If it is individuals, we call it fight. If it is on a large scale, we call it war and that. So, some diseases occur because of hyperactivity of the energy centers, allowing energy to flow too much into the constitution. For example, high temperatures, sclerosis, nervousness, neurosis, neuralgias, all these belong to the first group. The second group is the centers are closed, the apertures are dirty. You should lubricate the car once again. The constitution is debilitated because there is no constant supply of energy. The fellow goes weak. He goes into palpitations, sweats, debilitation, short breath, dyspnea, etc. The liver is not functioning, intestine is not functioning, chronic diarrheas, chronic constipations. We use many medicines, sometimes purgatives. Again, next day there is constipation. Daily the fellow takes purgative and goes into disease. Because he is tackling the disease wrongly on the physical plane when the disease exists on the vital plane. So, this is the second group of diseases. You should know more about this by following the system in a systematic way. Of course, one lecture is not enough. I am just showing you how to approach. And you should apply 2 different methods with your hands to the 2 different fellows. If the patient belongs to the hyperactive type and produces a disease of hyperactivity, you touch him in the required places and draw the energy out of him with the thought. Because energy follows thought. That is one of the mantras or sentences given by Jwalpur in not less than 18 places in all his 24 volumes. Energy follows thought. It is a scientific truth which can be understood by objective scientists sometime in the 21st century. So, you produce a thought and draw the extra energy from the parts of the body. Suppose the fellow is having hemicrania, migraines, headaches, pulsating type of headache, blood rushing to the head. Then you touch the head, ask the fellow to close his eyes, and you find out the required nerve and muscle and touch it and draw the energy from the head. Within 4 or 5 minutes the fellow is okay. But if the fellow belongs to the second type, if you apply it, he will die. You have to apply the other process. Don't touch him. You produce your fingers just near the concerned part of his body and induce energy through you into his constitution. Make a free supply of energy and see that his centers are opened. Then he is healed. So, this is a touch for conduction and this is no touch for induction. The process of conduction and the process of induction. Try to understand the patient and classify and apply the method accordingly. Don't apply wrongly, much harm is done. This in short is the scope of this subject. Of course I have not gone into this subject, it's not possible. And above all, there is one principle, without which all the process becomes utterly false, including medicine. That is what is called compassion, universal love and real love in its true sense. That is God's presence in you invoked. Unless you have it, unless you have a willingness to share it, all these things is only child's play and a false, an utopia, a fairy tale. That's all. So this is what I want to convey to you today. Thank you all once again. And we go into the invocation before we close the all those who want to heal and who want to be healed, please repeat the invocation. We will let us repeat the invocation given by Master Jayapur. From the point of light, within the mind of God,
within the mind of God,
let light stream forth
let light stream forth
into the minds of men.
into the minds of men.
Let light descend on earth.
Let light descend on earth.
From the point of love,
From the point of love,
within the heart of God,
within the heart of God,
let love stream forth
let love stream forth
into the hearts of men.
into the hearts of men.
May Christ return to earth.
May Christ return to earth.
From the center,
From the center,
where the will of God is known,
where the will of God is known,
let purpose
let purpose
guide the little wills of men.
guide the little wills of men.
The purpose
The purpose
which the masters know and serve.
which the masters know and serve.
From the center,
From the center,
which we call the race of men,
which we call the race of men,
let the plan of love and light
let the plan of love and light
work out,
work out,
and may it seal the door
and may it seal the door
where evil dwells.
where evil dwells.
From the avatar of synthesis,
From the avatar of synthesis,
who is to come,
who is to come,
let his energy pour down
let his energy pour down
in all kingdoms.
in all kingdoms.
May he lift up the earth
May he lift up the earth
to the kings of beauty.
to the kings of beauty.
Let light and love and power
Let light and love and power
restore the plan on earth.
restore the plan on earth.
I take 5 minutes of your time to explain about the Vedic chanting invocation I am doing, because a few of our brothers and sisters asked me to explain it. I take 5 more minutes, not more than that. Those who are interested, you can pay little attention and try to understand. The first sentence I utter is Shanno Mitraha. The Lord Mitra is called the god of measures. Mitra means measures. Let him bring peace to me. That is the meaning of the first sentence. Of course, it is there in English. We will send you. You can have multiplication of the copies, and afterwards you can take it. We will send it. In Geneva, they are there. From Geneva Center to our center, we will be sending them, and you can multiply the copies. Just you can listen to it together. The first sentence, Shanno Mitraha, means let the God of all measures who works through us, because we live by measuring time, space, etc. So, let him bring peace to us. The second is Syam Varuna, the God, the same God in the capacity of Varuna. That means the Lord of surfaces. He creates in space a surface to the solar systems and differentiates one solar system from another. Similarly, one planet different from another, and one human being different from another. So there is a Lord who frames forms by creating a surface to every entity. So let that Lord bring peace to me. And the third is called Aryama. Shanno Bhavat Aryama. Aryama means the Lord of reproduction and multiplication. The Lord who multiplies the species, who sees that the living beings exist on this earth continuously, though living beings are dying every minute and being born every minute. There is an irreducible minimum which gives the continuity of living beings. The Lord who establishes this truth on this earth, let him bring peace to us. And then Indra and Brahaspati. Shanna Indro Brahaspati. Indra means the Lord of speech. And the Lord of the senses. Brahaspati means the Lord of utterance. So let the Lord of speech and the Lord of utterance bring peace to us. Next, Vishnu. Shanno Vishnu Rudrama. That means let the Lord of pervasion and presence. Let the Lord who pervades in everyone and who is giving his presence to everyone, let him bring peace to us. The word Vishnu means Lord of pervasion and presence. Then next, Namo Brahmane. That is, I bow down to Brahma, means the Lord of self-expansion. He is expanding in the form of individuals, their minds, their thoughts. So let the Lord of expansion, who is the creator, bring peace to us. I bow down to Brahma, the Lord. Namaste Vayu. Is Vayu. That is the Lord of pulsation. Called Prana, who brings respiration by creating air in space and lungs in us. That is the meaning of it. So, Namaste Vayo. And Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. The next means addressing him, the same Lord. You are the Lord who is present in us. That's the next meaning. We know all the forms of Lord, but this form of Lord, who is in the form of our respiration and the air we breathe in, he is the real presence in us because we feel it every moment. So he says, you are the very presence in us. Tvam eva pratyaksham brahma vadishyami. The next sentence. That means, I utter that you are our presence. Because if we are to utter, we have to utter you only. So, unless there is respiration, we have no utterance of the word. So, the indweller of utterance is pulsation in the form of respiration and air that is coming and going. So, he says, you are the very presence of my utterance. Satyam vadishyami. So I utter truth. Therefore I utter truth because you made me utter one truth. I am uttering you out. I am able to trace you as living in my lungs, and as the truth of my utterance I have uttered you. Therefore you see that I utter truth. Ratam vadishyami. That means that which I do not know as truth, also let it be uttered through me. That means, whether knowingly or unknowingly, let me utter only the truth. Ratam vadishyami. Tanmam avatu. May he save us all. Tat vaktaram. That means, may he save us, the one who is teaching all these things to us. That is, this is an invocation of the Lord in the form of the teacher and the students. That's why it is said, may he save us all, may he save the person who teaches us these things. That is the teacher, one who teaches. And once again, may he save us. Once again, may he save our teacher. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. That is, peace be to all. This invocation was being used in the morning before classes started and in the evening when classes are closed in the ancient schools in India. So this is the invocation, and the meaning and the word meaning of which I will send here to Paul, and the copies may be multiplied and you can take it from. So I take leave of you once again, and we will meet once again when the Lord makes us meet. Thank you.
Thank you.
På den danske gruppes vegne vil jeg gerne sige Dr. Krishnamacharya hjertelig tak for de 3 dage, vi har haft sammen her.
behalf of our whole group, we want to wish you thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts for these 3 days.
Vi har lært uendelig meget, ikke kun i ord og meninger, men vi har også fået en strøm af energi igennem os, og der vil blive meget at tænke over i den tid, der kommer, og alt det, vi har fået formidlet.
Through words and your teaching power, we have learned so much to think about in these coming days.
Jeg kan fortælle gruppen, at Dr. Krishnamacharya antagelig kommer næste år og bliver hos os i 6 dage. Vi forhandler om at leje højskolen, den internationale højskole i Helsingør, og holde et seminar for spiritual healing og målrettet imod mod alle dem, som healer, men som ikke er læger. Og der vil ude i Europa vil antageligt beholdt et specielt lægeseminar, som Dr. Krishnamacharya.
Since everyone understood it, we're looking forward very much to the seminar that you're going to hold with us next year. 6 days at the college in Helsingør, an international high school, on spiritual healing.
Dette seminar har vi aftalt med Dr. Krishnamacharya vil blive lagt ind i en plan, som vil blive lagt nu nede i München, når Krishnamacharya efter han har været i Hamburg rejser til München, og vi regner med, at vi kan forelægge de færdige planer en gang i december.
We hope to see the finished program in December for the seminar next year in August, and that will be in München.
Det er en buket, som repræsenterer de danske farver, rød og hvid, og den skulle symbolisere, skal vi sige, Danmarks tak til, at de er kommet som lærer til os. Og jeg ved, at de skal rejse til Hamburg i morgen, og måske den ikke skal følge med til Hamburg, men så må de have lov til at give den til hvem de ønsker at give. Det er vores tak til dem, som symboliseres i de danske farver.
These are the colours of the Danish flag, red and white, and would you please accept on behalf of all of us our deepest thanks for being here for these 3 days visit.
So, I make a symbolic acceptance of these colorful things, which are in truth the hearts of the Danish land. So, I take them with me to be placed in a vase, which is my heart.